Everyone. Let's get started today in child's pose. And it can be as simple as just folding forward. You can experiment with how you want your knees to be positioned close together, wide apart, how you want to use props. It's really just kind of up to like where you're at. If you're just joining us, we're just getting started. Hi there. We are recording. And we're starting in child's pose. And there's no props required for today, but as you can see, I have a usual array around me. So blocks, a blanket, a bolster, and feel free to just grab things as you need them or forego them. I really like my child's pose with the knees together. I'm going to use my pillow under my forehead this evening. Just make yourself comfortable. The arms can stretch forward. The arms can rest at your sides. The goal here is to have the body begin to feel very, very, very earthbound. To get in touch with like our interior landscape, but kind of from like a very earthy, bodily place. So just feel how the breath is moving through your body. Notice how the different parts of your body feel. See if you can use the breath to bring some ease, to disperse any kind of chaotic or frantic energy that's in the body sensationally, like, I don't know, most obviously on your face. You feel the mask of the face let go. You might take a big breath out the mouth, like fluttering the lips, like so. And if there are like little intuitive movements that are calling to you in your child's pose, like moving the forehead from side to side, or just kind of rolling the shoulders slightly, or shifting the hips from side to side. Feel the breath getting deeper in the body, penetrating every corner. Really noticing the space that the breath takes up, the shape of it, structure of it. How can we adjust the body in every posture? We're starting here, but we'll go really slow. And in every posture, how can you really just make yourself spacious and clear for the breath? And hopefully the mind will follow. I think that's sort of the idea anyway. And if you're doing anything asymmetrical in your posture, like, left leaning one cheek on the pillow, you can just pick up your head and turn the cheek the other way. Again, it's like this pursuit of finding this really balanced, supported space within the body. So there's going to be like shifts. There's not everything is going to be even and level, but we're kind of just trying to get closer to this balanced being. And as you both know, as we practice, the body does get more limber from these postures, from the breath work. Just taking a few more breaths here in our first pose. Take an inhale, fill yourself all the way up. And then as you exhale, just let your breath move through an open mouth. You can make a big noise. You might not make very much noise at all, but it's just that releasing, the feeling of it, dropping the body down. Maybe you take a couple more breaths just like that to finish off our time in this posture. And then when you're ready, just lift yourself up and move any props that you have off to the side. And we're gonna come down and lie on our bellies. Make a pillow with your hands. Let the forehead rest on that. So we're still facing down towards the earth. If anything, we're getting like more in contact with the gross material nature of our bodies and how they relate to the earth. Attracted by gravity, moving down, the flesh releases. You can relax through the legs so the toes together, heels fall open to either side. You might rock the hips from side to side. Same as with child's pose, we're going to be here for kind of a moment. So just settling in, making yourself as spacious in the breath, as comfortable as you can be, feeling the body really releasing down. Being very aware of the shape of the breath in the body, the belly pressing against the earth. Relax the shoulders. Again, if your posture is asymmetrical in any way, like the head turned to one side, just make sure you move and do the opposite. And noticing how every transition, every change, every action in our practice becomes meaningful when we slow it down. So we turn the head, and you can notice how the breath changes, how you have to acclimatize yourself to that new state of being. Going through the whole process of coming back into balance, into relaxation, into release. What can you relax in these last breaths here? And when you're ready, let's begin by engaging through the feet. So pick up one toe and reach it back, just lengthening the leg, activating the leg. The tops of the feet plant down into the earth. Tuck your elbows in so they're just more or less under your shoulders, coming up into a Sphinx posture. Again, you're just here if you're comfortable enough here. Don't overcomplicate it. Just sort of find this balance, this equanimity here in the posture, feeling the extension of the front of the body. Let the back relax. Notice if the back is tensed up. Relaxing the shoulders. Notice where your gaze falls, keeping the back of the neck long. So don't like crank up to the sky, like maintain this nice energy, sort of the maximum space for the breath to move around in. Let's just stay here and breathe. You can roll your head from side to side or do anything like that. Just know we're going to stay here and breathe this rough shape. I'm going to talk a little bit about tapas, which is the yoga niyama that's usually translated as austerity. The word means literally like warmth, heat, or fire, but it usually refers to a sacrificial fire, and it's like, that's like the root of everything that the Rāmāyana is sort of set up around is like these rituals. How do our lives and our actions as individuals contribute to the rituals of the world around us? And the sort of arbiters of this in the Rāmāyana are the rishis, like Vashista, who is Rama's main priest. And in the Balakanda, the first book of the Rāmāyana, he goes on a little bit of a walkabout adventure, his first adventure, with a rishi named Viśvāmitra. And we get at one point the story of Viśvāmitra's origins. When you're ready, exhale and release down to the earth. And then let's push up to a tabletop. I'll get back to the story in a minute. Let's set ourselves up for just a little cat-cow. To be cozy, you might take your blanket and just undo it, but it's really just up to you. And cat-cow, the inhale opens the heart forward, pulling the heart through the arms, the gateway of the arms, and then as you exhale, you curl the tail under, lifting the heart to the sky, bringing the chin in towards the chest, and just move with the breath. Keep the breath nice and flowing and slow, so you can really use it to explore every millimeter of space and movement available to the spine. So anyway, Viśvāmitra, he is interesting because he actually was a king before he became a rishi. A rishi, it should be said, is sort of like the most supernatural being you can be while still being considered human and sort of relatable on an everyday level. So rishis live for like thousands of years, but they kind of keep up with times and stay relevant and are the ones who decide like what is an appropriate action in the sense of rituals, in the sense of politics. And you just keep moving through cat and cow. So Viśvāmitra, before he had to like work his way up. He had to become deemed this sort of timeless being that he becomes. So he goes up through a great deal of austerity, of practice, of commitment. In his austerities, like one of them, for instance, was holding his hand up in the air for like 1,000 years. And they're actually, I read that and I was sort of really surprised because I was also just reading about separately a rishi in India now who has been doing the same thing since 1973. He is, I believe, still doing it. It's like we're still doing cat and cow. So I began to think about how to do this in a physical yoga asana practice. And I was like, is there any way to do this without it being so fiery and intense and absolute as that? What I've come up with is just these gentle repetitions, cycles, and really paying attention to every moment that passes within them, how our minds can become one pointed. And come back and sit on your heels or sit in any comfortable position. I just chose Virasana because it's here. Again, use any postures, props to make yourself supremely comfortable and tall. I'm actually going to take a block between my ankles and sit back on that. You might want 2 blocks. You might put a bolster on top of a block. You know, make yourself comfortable. This is a practice called, what's it called? It's like basically like sitting like a mountain. I can't remember what the Sanskrit is now. I think it's Kaira Stairam, but don't quote me on it. The tops of the feet or whatever parts of your legs are in contact with the earth or with the prop, just begin to feel them from the bottom up, becoming aware of them. And your eyes can be closed or they can be open. Your hands can rest on your lap, palms down, palms up. Find somewhere where you can get some relaxation into the shoulders there, so you're not hunching forward. You can roll the shoulders back. And let the breath really flood into the heart. And at the same time, you're not losing that connection to your muscular core. So on your exhales, there's this inborn affirmation of those muscles, just that retraction of the navel back towards the spine. And you don't have to overemphasize it or anything. Just become aware of its being there naturally. And with that increased awareness of the weight of the legs, the feet, and of that core center pulsating, your eyes can close. Maintain the weight of the legs and feel the breath rise up into the lower belly and the abdomen generally, just filling and emptying softly. Let the breath really be gentle and creating its space. Allowing for this pleasant, cloud-like emptiness to settle in and spread. And then we'll move the breath up into the heart. And really feel the full lung capacity just gently filling and emptying. Spend a little time here with the whole torso full, light, refreshing breath. Becoming ever more aware of the solidity and stability of the base of our legs. And then take the breath up into your head. Lift the breath, inhaling all the way up the back of the neck to fill that skull cap. And emptying it all the way back down. The face relaxes, the jaw relaxes. And the mind relax. And that relaxation brings some endurance, some tapas. So abide here for another minute or so. I'm not saying that this is like the most easy posture. In fact, it's very, very difficult to be truly comfortable in your seated posture. We've invented so many other shapes to move through to help us find a seat that is still, but abide nonetheless. And in the end of Viśvāmitra's sort of ascent to becoming this top level rishi, he just sat and sat and sat and sat and was not disturbed for thousands of years. Nothing could distract him. The gods sent some distractions. It didn't work. Finally, they tried tricks that had worked in the past. After all, everyone makes mistakes. Viśvāmitra is only human. Let's move a little bit. Just blink your eyes open to begin. That's a big transition from stillness. So let that settle. And we're going to do some moon salutes. So set your props off to the side. You might still just keep your blanket on your mat if you like it. Not in the way. So we'll sit back on the heels, and this is a really simple moon salute. So on your inhale, you lift up, you lift the arms up, use the whole breath. Exhale, the hands come down, the chin and the chest come down. So your butt's still in the air. And then you'll inhale, slide forward for a cobra pose. You can keep it really low. It doesn't have to be like mega. And then exhale, send the hips back for a child's pose. Inhale, lifting up to stand, round 2. Exhale, hands come down, chin and chest comes down. Inhale, slide forward, find cobra. And exhale, carries you back. Child's pose, keep on flowing. Moving through it. Let the movement like serve all those parts of your body that you may have noticed still need a little attention. So you can stop and pause and just kind of work with it. Pay attention to how the breath in the body moves. And the practice of tapas brings lots of supernatural powers and abilities. So all kinds of people have spent their time and effort in austerities, and then in a moment of, just emotional reactivity, they blow it all by throwing out a curse, and they have to start all over again from scratch. And that happens to Viśvāmitra a lot. And he still achieves the greatest level of wisdom and knowledge and foresight that's possible. Inhale, lifting. And exhale. A couple more rounds. Last time, inhaling up. Exhaling, hands come down, chin and chest come down. Inhale, slither forward. Exhale, sit back on the heels. Let's just shift the hips off to the side, actually. A little bit on our knees, a bunch. Chill out a little bit. Plant the feet on the earth and feel the feet. You can grab behind your thighs. We're just doing a gentle Navasana. So just feeling that connection to the core again. So you feel the space. You can still lift space all the way up, down your spine, creating that sort of spacious, lovely emptiness on your inhales and exhales. Soak it in. Again, your eyes can close. Your eyes can always close. That helps you bring the focus to a finer point. And you can always be doing open mouth exhales. I had a teacher recently say, take unusual breaths as necessary, which I love. So I'm hijacking it. The teacher is Paul Cabanas at Yoga House for anyone in LA. And tapping into your tapas, finding that austerity, that endurance. This is probably getting a little bit more difficult, even though we're not doing like the maximum version of Navasana with everything lifted up towards the sky, balancing. We're taking it relatively easy, but seeing how long we can endure and where the endurance itself takes us. Inhaling and exhale. You can let your legs go long and just find a forward fold that suits you. So like the legs can be wide. This is also another great opportunity for some props, which just occurred to me, seeming delicious. So I'm making a ramp with my bolster and 2 blocks, and I'm gonna fold down from here. I just find like a way for myself to be somewhat supported. My head can release into something. This isn't necessary, it's just what I'm doing. But having the legs nice and long. Feels good after having the knees bent. Standing on the knees. Let the shoulders relax equally. So notice if one shoulder is still holding some tension. Same with the legs. Notice if you can let the hips, settle equally. The legs extend evenly. Then walk the hands in towards the body, coming up to sit upright. Getting my props off to the side for the most part. And from a tabletop position, let's step the right foot forward outside of the right hand. Let's get into the hips a little bit. A great thing to do with the blocks for some people is to kind of use them under the hands at their highest setting and use that as like a way to give yourself more space through the chest and maybe your armpit and elbow meet. And you can take in this like crazy lizard thing, you can take, or any other variation of lizard, you can take little circles moving through the hips. Just want to give us some space now. If you're doing circles in one direction, make sure you go in both directions. And then bring your hands in underneath the shoulders if you have your arms extended out long. And you might use the blocks, and you want to inhale to arch the spine, opening the heart, and then exhale. It's like cat and cow, but just in this lunge. So the legs stay the same. And the breath just moves. And you can feel how that, like, as the spine moves, you feel the stretch in various new and interesting places. Perhaps going deeper into your left hip. I don't know what's going on for you. I'm just speaking what's happening in my present moment. And then come to stillness. Inhale here and exhale. Shift the hips back, finding a half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. But we were talking about Hanuman earlier, so why not? You can use the blocks under your hands, the forearms, whatever, and you're just finding like this lovely extension to the back of the right leg. Dig the heel down into the earth so you like feel the muscles of the back of the leg turn on. Flex your toes, bend your right knee a little bit. Feel that right hip pulling back, lengthening the right side of the waist. Inhale, come up to your hands, and we're just shifting into our tabletop again. We're coming to the other side, but of course, it's always nice to maybe take a cat and cow in the middle just to let the energy of that big stretch settle. If you're performing tapas, you got to know what you're doing. You have to have intention to find your attention and truly endure. Then your left leg can come forward for lizard. You can scoot your right knee back, set yourself up. Figure out what is going to feel great for you. Might be different than what I'm doing. Going back to those circles. And let your breath guide that decision rather than your ego. Easier said than done. Anything circular, asymmetrical can go reverse. And then the hands come back in underneath your shoulders. And cats and cows, inhale opening, and exhale rounding. So like a lot of simple postures and movements and holds tonight. But with the idea of the simplicity being something that we can continue. Just like the idea of holding your hand up in the air seems like something pretty easy to do. So you're doing it for 50 years, 1,000 years. Same difference, it seems like from here. Yeah, when you come forward into your inhale, just let yourself settle for a moment. And then exhale, you're shifting back for Ardha Hanuman. And then inhale, we're coming forward. Put your blocks off to the side. We're going to use them soon, but we're coming back to that Navasana again. Don't worry, we're going down from here. So find this last little bit of physically effortful tapas. Pressing the feet down into the earth, hands behind the knees, lifting the heart up, keeping the navel engaged to the spine so the core is strong and steady, and supporting the breath, it flows. Back of the neck is nice and long. There's a relaxation of the mind. And then reach your arms out in front of you. Keep the legs just how they are, knees hugging in towards each other, legs engaged, arms are engaged. Roll the shoulders down the back. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to curl down to the earth, releasing one vertebra at a time. Take it really, 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 really slow. Feel every millimeter of the spine releasing. Let your legs slide out for a brief Shavasana. We'll come back for a longer one. But just a few breaths right now. Feel the body release to the earth. This time we're belly up, which is different than where we began. And then turn your toes up towards the sky. You don't have to like over energize the legs, but they're lightly engaged to hold the toes upright. And you'll hug your right knee in, wrap the hands around the knee, pull it into the chest, take a deep breath in. And out, feel the navel drop naturally, keeping the navel down. Inhale, curl the head up to the knee and hold it in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release everything down to the earth. Feel the energy settle in the body. Again, the right knee hugs in. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. Inhale, rolling forehead to the knee. Hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, roll back down. Deep breaths, completely relaxing. The left knee hugs in. A few breaths just to feel that shift. Notice how the hips have to maybe re-square. Make sure that right leg is lightly engaged. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, navel drops. Inhale, curl up and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release, unfurl. Again, left knee hugs in. Inhale. Exhale fully. Navel stays engaged. Inhale, lift. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Hug your knees in both at the same time. Feel that settle. Inhale. Exhale fully. Holding the navel in. Inhale, lifting the forehead. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release everything to the ground. Inhale, pull the knees into the chest. Getting settled, inhale fully. Exhale, navel drops to the spine. Inhale, curl up and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. We will be here in Shavasana for 5 full minutes, and then I'll let you know we'll have an opportunity to do another 5 full minutes of seated meditation or remaining in Shavasana. But starting in Shavasana to begin with, and letting yourself release completely and bask in the warmth of your tapas. allowing yourself to feel pleasantly empty, cloud-like and yet earthbound in the best possible ways, encompassing all of that perspective at once. As I mentioned, you can stay here, you're back in Shavasana. You can transition slowly in your own time to a comfortable seated position. You might come back to that Kaya Stairam or whatever. I'm definitely getting the name wrong, but the that posture and that meditative practice where we were like feeling the ground and then lifting the breath up, creating space in the body. You know, we did it earlier. You can return there and close the eyes and spend some minutes here. I'm just going to say a few last words on the sage Viśvāmitra, and then I'll leave us in silence. I guess what's really interesting and what I think the value of Viśvāmitra's character is revealed to be is that he can really see the world from every perspective, from the most lowly. There are stories of how he ends up in these most lowly of situations. And then he also has the weapons of the gods. So he literally has like this divine perspective at one point. And then that's not enough for him. So he cultivates his tapas until he can see all the way from the very top level of Rāma, ultimate intelligence, consciousness itself. And he has all of that experience, and he is still walking around, taking Rāma on quests and adventures. So there's a lot to be said for the tapas of being able to see all those perspectives, and then also have the greater perspective of being in one place in time and the importance of being there in this world instead of some floating heavenly palace that is available to you. So just this practice of our asana and meditations and pranayama, this harnessing of tapas, this harnessing of our focus to be one-pointed, and that one-pointedness is a vehicle towards all-pointedness. Just another minute here. Taking up the space between earth, space above the ether, bring your hands to heart center. Let's close tonight's practice with one Om. Sound of all, sound of one. Inhaling. Exhale fully. Inhaling for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you guys are peaceful and basking in your warm tapasy glow.